If you're a real estate agent and you're tired of cold calling, door knocking, and spending money on ads, then subscribe to this podcast. We discuss leveraging the power of YouTube for your real estate business and how these strategies earned us over $1 million in GCI our first year in real estate. My name is Levi Lascsak and my partner is Travis Plumb. Let's get started. We're going to get started. This is YouTube for real estate, and today we are discussing 5 tips for better filming. And I would say probably seems pretty simple, but again, I think just a good reminder as well. And we're always looking for best practices. I'm joined here by my trusty co-host and sidekick, Chrissy Owens. Chrissy, how are you today? And also a day after her birthday, the big 3-2, huh? Am I allowed to say that? Am I allowed?
You're allowed to say that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, doing good. Doing great.
Good. And also joined by Matt LaMarche at the very beginning. Amazing. Who is, are you 52 at this point, Matt? How old are you?
I have the wisdom, yes.
The wisdom.
40-year-old, yeah, something like that.
How old are you? I didn't catch that.
I just turned 40 in August.
Oh, really? Well, man, happy birthday. Happy 40th, man. What did you do for that's a big one. Congratulations.
Yeah. We went down the Pacific Coast Highway in California. It was amazing. Nice trip just to the wife and I, so, yeah.
Did you fly into Northern California?
Yeah, so we read every blog article and watched every YouTube video about driving the PCH, which sure we'll talk a little more about YouTube during this next hour.
Oh.
But anyway, we watched every video and read every article, and our initial thought was to drive south to north, and everyone said, do not do that, drive north to south, because when you're in the left lane, headed north, everything you want to see is on the other side of the road. And so we took their advice, and thank goodness we did, because there were a lot of pull-offs and scenic overpasses and views that you just don't get from the other side of the road without endangering yourself and those around you. So it was an amazing trip.
Well, that's a great point right from the beginning. I tell you what, that's a game changer right there. Imagine if you would have flown into San Diego, planned this. How long did the trip take?
So we squeezed it in 5 days. I really would have rather done a week because, we went literally all the way from San Francisco down to, we flew out of LAX, so we didn't even make it all the way down to San Diego. But, for what we accomplished in 5 days, we spent a day in LA and then a day in San Francisco, and then just kind of half days more or less in Monterey and Santa Barbara and Santa Monica, and it was a great trip. But I think you really need a week to 10 days to do it right, and that's what most people said. But unfortunately, we didn't have the time to commit to it. But it was still a ton of fun.
So you didn't even make it to Huntington or Newport Beach, huh?
No, we didn't. But I think what we're going to do next time is start there and then go all the way down to Lake Mexico or something. I don't know. We'll see.
There you go. That's another way to do it. Just fly back into LA, do the second half of the trip, and then find yourself in Cabo, right?
Right.
Well, that's awesome, man. So that's pretty good. That's what a great way to start as well, as far as utilizing the power of YouTube to research, right? This is something that we talk about all the time, and that is the power of search. And get your questions answered. And think about that, even from road trips to plumbing issues. It was funny. I was talking to a client yesterday. It was what was interesting is we had a glitch in our system or something, and the phone numbers or the phone calls started forwarding to my cell phone. And so I saw a call coming in from California, and I didn't realize there was a glitch in our system or something, but I answered the phone anyways. Not that I'm opposed to talking to clients. I don't mind talking to clients, but they called in. They're like, "Oh, hi, is this the living in Dallas, Texas?" I said, "Yes." And I wasn't expecting a client call, and so that's why I just answered hello. I was like, "Hello," and normally I say, "Hello, this is Levi," but also it kind of I thought it could be spam or something, but anyways, just said hello, and they're like, "Oh, is this living in Dallas?" And I said, "Yeah, this is Levi." I was like, "How are you?" And he goes, "Oh," he's like, this is Levi." And I said, "Yeah." And so we started talking, and he was from from California, and it was funny that we just started chatting away, and he was like, "Yeah, my wife lives on YouTube." He goes, "The great thing for me is that I really don't have to fix much around the house because my wife will just YouTube it, and then she just kind of does it on her own instead of waiting around for me to call somebody or get somebody over here to do it." He goes, "Because she knows I'm not going to do it. She just YouTubes everything now, and then on top of it, all of her entertainment, fun." He's like, "She just lives on YouTube." And so, and he's like, the videos are just exactly what we were looking for. And so that helped us out. And so, and that was it. They're making a move here, and he works with Southwest, and that's the thing. Here's the deal. People are still buying and selling in this market right now, and it is happening, and we're still getting calls every day. Not as many as we used to, but it's still. I mean, if you still got 3 calls a day, which we're still averaging about 3 to 4 calls per day. If that's what you're receiving in your business, would it be worth it to make video? Because something in this market right now is I absolutely believe that the most visible agent is going to win in this market. And that doesn't have to be on YouTube. So if you're not a YouTuber, although I believe everyone in this room is on YouTube or aspiring to be on YouTube, is that if you're a phone call person, you need to make more phone calls. If you're a people person, you need to be more in person. You need to double up on those efforts. That's what it's going to take in this market. For us, it's doubling down on content. Right now, it was something that over the last month, it was just scheduling with three different trips, and there was 2 speaking opportunities, and then also we had our business planning, our 2023 business planning scheduled as well. So that all kind of fell 3 weeks in a row, which kind of kept me from producing the amount of content I wanted to produce, but at the same time still kept up with a couple of videos going out per week. But right now, that's the goal, is to focus on doubling down on content to go to 4 videos a week, because typically we do 3. And with the travel the last 3 weeks, I did drop down to 2, but that's the other aspect of it is when you have momentum and you have some content built up, then you're not as worried about traveling. But still, 2 videos a week is better than none. Not as much as I would want, but we're going to focus on working on at least 4 videos a week right now during this time, this market right now, because I do believe the most visible agents will win. And we're still getting calls every single day. And this person was, despite of everything that's going on and what we hear in the news and what we see on YouTube, with every thumbnail having fire and brimstone and everything's crashing, we're still getting calls, people making the move. And just in the conversation yesterday with this client, they were making the move. They're transferring with Southwest, from California. He said it is just way too expensive for him to afford anything in California. They were looking at Austin. Austin was too expensive as well. And that's what I love about Dallas, is Dallas has still been pretty good about keeping their housing prices mostly in check, even though they've had significant increases. There's still some good areas around here to find some decent housing. And on top of that, right now, I mean, it's a great time. The negotiations are a lot easier right now. And so even with someone like himself who had a $500,000 budget, then we can find him a great deal here in the Dallas area, close enough for them to commute to the airport as well. He's going to be working out of Love Field. But he wasn't worried about interest rates or anything like that. He knew what he's getting into, but has his affordability, and they're ready to, and they're transferring with Southwest. So it's one of those situations where people are making moves every single day, and it's just a matter of are we going to capture a portion of that market or not? So for us, that's the power of video and search. Just to Matt's point right here. Matt wanted to go take a road trip and do something unique for his birthday. And where did he go? He went to YouTube. Now, I heard him mention some blogs in there as well, but I think, you get a pretty good visual. I'm sure he found some summary videos and probably people that have made that route before and probably put together a little montage and some clips, and it's a great way to just figure that out. And so think about the value that you provide to people and the visual you can create for them by doing that in your own neighborhoods and around your city and offering them that value. I mean, it's just something that we hear time and time again that people absolutely love that, and it sets us apart from so many other agents. And even if there is an agent or two or three in your market, what's the alternative? What else are you going to focus on? If you focus on postcards or cold calling or door knocking, then guess what? There's probably a lot more competition in those areas than there is on YouTube right now. So, we just talk about it time and time again. But of course, getting on YouTube requires a little bit of effort and planning. And so we're kind of discussing the 5 tips for better filming today. And if you have questions, feel free to throw those in the chat. We would love to answer some of those questions, or feel free to come up on stage. We absolutely prefer to have conversations over just answering the chat, but we'll do either or. So whatever you're comfortable with. But yeah, load us up on some questions. But number one here, I was going to say for some better tips on filming. Number one is to come out have a mini plan. And the reason I position it as a mini plan is because we don't want to get into analysis paralysis. We don't want to overcompensate. We don't want to overcomplicate. But we do want to have a little bit of a mini plan. We want to understand what we're doing for that video and how we're going to do that. And so especially this is very important in the beginning as well, because less experience, not as much of a routine for us at this moment. For myself, a little bit more seasoned on video, I can wing things a lot easier. Now, I'll absolutely wing a neighborhood video, especially if I know the area. If I don't know the area of a neighborhood, it's very simple. I do exactly what Matt just did. I will read a blog. I mean, I don't know every inch of Dallas, but I want to cover every inch of Dallas for our channel, because I know the more neighborhoods and suburbs that I can cover, the more opportunity it allows us to be visible, going back to being the most visible agent in your field. Again, whether that's on video, whether that's on the phone, whether that's in person, or whether that's in somebody's mailbox, whoever is the most visible agent. It's funny, one of my friends, Michael Reese, told me that he would get calls from people and say, look, I just called you because I could wallpaper my whole house with your postcards. That's how many postcards he sent out. That's a form of visibility. Mike also had a fully wrapped Hummer. Not really my style, but he had a Hummer, big old Hummer that was fully wrapped with his face and the Michael Reese home selling team and all that. And he drove that all around Frisco. Very, very visible. So whatever your method is of being visible, that's what's going to help. So the mini plan is just really understanding, okay, how am I going to structure this video real quick? And for me, a neighborhood video is, if I know the neighborhood, I'm going to go there and I'm going to talk about my stories, my experiences, what's going on, what I like about it, what I would look out for, and being around in that neighborhood, it's going to trigger a lot of memories for me and visual aspects. So if I know it quite well, I'm not worried about planning it out or writing things out. I know, okay, hey, I know that's a good area that I know and love, and so I can go over there and talk about it. But I do cover a couple of neighborhoods that I'm not as familiar with. So I don't want to go over there and just ramble. So I will easily look up online, which at least in Dallas, and this may be across the country, but if you type in visit Frisco, visit Plano, visit Dallas, visit Allen, at least in the Dallas area, almost all of those are websites on that city. Visit Frisco is like a complete tourist website, I guess you could say, or informational website, or frisco.org or something like that. Anything with a .org, if you can find the city's website, pretty much as far as I know, every city has a city-sanctioned website, usually ending in .org. If you find that as well, a lot of great information. There will be tabs on there, population, growth, things to do, places to see, history. All of that stuff is easily on there. Very easy reference point to go on there, read a little bit of it, maybe jot down a few notes, and then you're good to go. Again, that's a mini plan to me. That's not overcomplicating, overthinking it. It's just like, okay, let me gather some quick information. If you want to, now there's another way you could do it. You could do a lot more voiceover as well, where you do read out some facts and things like that. But I would recommend, if you go to that area, capture as much B-roll as possible and additional footage, so that whenever you do those voiceovers, it's not just you reading from a script and the video camera's on you. It's a lot of B-roll and things that you can overlay while you're doing that voiceover portion. But I recommend to do that in combination with with you out and about, actually walking and talking and showing. Now, if you're going to be making an office video or working from home, and you're going to do something simple, a map video, pros and cons, something like that, very simple to just bullet point that stuff out. Again, I believe anybody can do this. If you're making a simple pros and cons video, let's say you have 5 pros and 5 cons, and you list all those 10 subjects out. If I were to ask you each one of those bullet points, which could be, it could be traffic, could be weather, could be cost of living, could be things to do, could be culture, could be food, could be schools, whether that falls on your good or bad list, depending on what you believe, then, if I asked you, tell me about the schools in your area, tell me about the food in your area, tell me about the culture in this area. I think easily right now, if I asked Matt all those questions, one bullet point about each of Atlanta, I'm 100% sure he could talk for 2 or 3 minutes, possibly even longer, about each one of those subjects. If I say, hey, how's the traffic? Good or bad? Well, it's this and that. Okay, how's the food? How's the culture? How's the diversity? How's the weather? How's the traffic? Very simple stuff. I know he could tell me that stuff, and anybody here should be able to do that as well. So you just simply bullet point out what you think is the good and the bad of your area and use that as a reference point. We always talk about a 15, 18, 20. You think about a 15-minute video, you're not necessarily recording 15 minutes straight. It's really a series of 5 3-minute videos, give or take. Allow me to take a quick break to remind you that we have very important links in the description below. If you want the full story of how we closed over $1 million in commissions our first year and over $2.3 million in commissions our second year, check out the first link. Also, you have the link to our #1 Amazon best-selling book, Passive Prospecting. Last, if you enjoy this podcast and you're a giving person, leave a 5-star review, please. Now back to the episode. If I have a bullet point, I could easily talk about that for 2 to 3 minutes. Now, the thing is what you get comfortable with is how to start that talking point and how to end that talking point. Whenever you're able to do that, then you're able to get that edited together and make a smooth transition to where it all gets pieced together, and you have a great 15, 18, 20, 25-minute video. And that's how we do it all the time. It's not just take a deep breath and then just rattle off for the next 25 minutes. That's, you could do that. Some people could do that. There's definitely some agents we know that could talk like that. And if you can, hey, great, do it in one take. But you're still probably gonna have to look over or look down or look at a note or something like that as well, so that you go to the next point. So even if you just go through a free flow, if you look at the next point, all of that stuff can be edited out, chopped up, and be handled accordingly. So that's how #1, I'd say, just kind of put together a little mini plan so that helps you be a little bit more comfortable and you know what you're talking about. And if you're going to sit down and do that, put together a mini plan, maybe do that for 2, 3, 4 videos. And so that you're in the research mode, knocking out, and then you have those ready to go. So #2 on better filming tips, I would say, is make sure that you have really good audio. This is something that we help people with all the time, and we highly encourage people to start out with their iPhone or maybe their Android as well. We do accept Android users from time to time. So if you have an iPhone, very simple. The cameras on these phones, iPhones and Androids or Galaxies, whatever they are they're amazing. They're really everything that you need. So most people do not have any issue in investing in a phone, even if you have really as low as an 11. If you have an 11 Pro or and above, as far as iPhone goes, you're covered. You've got what you need. However, you really need a good microphone to go with that, in my opinion. Now, the microphones are getting even better and better on these phones, but still, you want to make sure that you have really good quality audio. For me, at least on an iPhone, I love the microphone. It's a Shure MV, and that's like Michael Victor MV88. So that's a Shure MV88. It's a plug and play. Literally, you just plug it into your iPhone. It's powered by the iPhone. So once you plug it in, the key with that is you have to make sure that your phone is unlocked and on the camera is open whenever you plug it in. Because if you've ever noticed before, and I've done this several times, is I would plug it in, and you can open up your camera on the iPhone without unlocking your phone. But if you don't unlock your phone, it doesn't read accessories usually. And so for a while, I would go back and forth to where some of my videos would have good audio, some not so great. And I was like, why can't I get this microphone to be consistent? Well, I realized soon after that, well, you gotta unlock the phone so it can read it as an accessory. There's a little green light on it, and so whenever you plug it in, you know that it's on. But that's a directional microphone. It does very well about blocking out all of the noise behind it. So it's directional, meaning that it's pointing towards you and your voice, so it's going to pick up that voice inflection from you. However, it's so good that it can also pick up your feet dragging on the sidewalk. If you're a feet dragger, then I would recommend you pick up your feet or walk softly. So that's something that I've noticed listening back some of my videos is like, oh, there's a couple of spots whenever I tend to slow down, I'll tend to drag my feet. And so now I'm very aware of that whenever I'm out walking around, to walk in full steps without dragging my feet, because otherwise that microphone is so good, it'll pick that up and you'll literally hear like a shh, shh, shh. So also if you're getting towards fall time like now and there's leaves on the ground, be mindful of that. If you start walking through leaves, it's going to pick up all the crunchies, all the nice little crunchies on there, and so that'll be in your video as well if you're not mindful of that. So all of this stuff is from the fact that I've screwed it up before. All right, so that's the thing, is that don't worry about it. Just go ahead and move on and make adjustments going forward. So number 1 was a mini plan. Number 2 is having good audio. Number 3 on better filming is the wide angle camera on the iPhone, and they have wide angle cameras on the S20s and above. Is that right, Chrissy? Is that what you? Is that the standard model? Is it S20?
Yeah, S20 Plus and above on the Samsung has that stabilization and the wide angle camera. Okay.
Well, great point on the stabilization as well. So a lot of people ask me all the time if I use gimbals or the electronic thing that moves around and you have to stabilize it and do all that stuff, and I just don't really like them. Could I get used to them? Yes. Could I learn it? Yes. But it's bulky, it's heavy, all that stuff. I just use a little tripod, a $20 tripod that acts like a little selfie stick, because it's only about a foot long, but that's enough separation for me to hold it out and in front of me, and using that wide angle, which for iPhones is an 11 Pro or above if you have the Pro series. So if you get a 12, it has to be a Pro. If you have a 13, I believe it has to be a Pro to have that wide angle. But the stabilization on there too keeps everything very, very stable. It's what I use a lot in the driving footage as well. I just use the iPhone and it comes off very clean and very smooth. But using that wide angle when you're outside, I believe, is really key, because that is going to reduce your face size quite a bit. If you don't have it on the wide angle, your face is going to take up a good portion of that the phone, of the camera, of the screen, of the frame. So if you've ever watched somebody's video and their face is like right there, taking up at least a third, possibly 2/3 of the screen, it's not because it's not on wide angle. A lot of, when people say, man, I love your videos, how do you do that? What they're always asking what camera I use, and it's like, no, it's an iPhone. It's on the wide angle, which is the third camera on the back side. So yes, I'm not looking at myself. I'm looking into the 3 cameras, and to me, that's like it's like having a conversation with Mickey Mouse, right? I'm just talking to Mickey Mouse here, and I'm gonna explain to Mickey Mouse what's going on here in Frisco or Dallas or Plano, wherever I'm at that day. But I know with that wide angle that I'm in the frame, and my face is not taking up a third or 2/3 of the frame. It's taking up more about a fifth of the frame. So that leaves a lot more background, a lot more of what I want them to see visible in the frame, and also allows me to never worry about being in the frame. And then also I'm not looking at myself. So this is something I see over and over again for people that use the front facing camera so they can see themselves. First of all, your face is going to be huge in the frame as well, because that's you don't get a zoom in or out on the front facing camera. Plus, people will look at themselves instead of actually looking at the camera, and the camera is at the far left, or depending on how you have your phone positioned, but it's on the far left side, because let's say, and you have to look at the camera, which means you shouldn't look at yourself, because if you look at yourself, guess what who you're not looking at whenever somebody's watching that video is you're not looking at the viewer. And so it's very difficult to establish any connection with that viewer or hold someone's attention. And then they're sitting there, it looks like you're looking over their shoulder instead of directly at them. And we want to make eye contact. And that's how we make eye contact on videos, is by looking directly into the camera, because that's where your viewer is. And you want to make that connection with them. You want them to see your eyes so that they feel like you're having a conversation with them. And that's what helps people feel like you're taking them through these neighborhoods and these areas, or even if you're in the office, then you're having these discussions. Now, caveat to that is that in the office, if you're using your iPhone to film on, then you might want to use the front-facing camera. The wide angle is you can do that as well, but you'll definitely want to be a little bit closer to it. Otherwise, that may look a little different in an office setting. But if you use the front-facing camera to be a little bit more framed up, that's okay in the office, because you're not necessarily highlighting the background, right? You're not going to talk people through your office or show them around your office, right? You become the focus in the office video. So if you use the front-facing camera, that's okay, but you need to really make sure that you are looking at the camera versus yourself. And again, if you stare at yourself, then you're having a conversation with yourself. And whenever that viewer is watching that video, then you're having a conversation with their shoulder, not with them. So just be mindful of that. And the wide angle is very, very useful out in the field. And so that would be tip number 3. So tip number 4 is going to be, I just got making sure my internet was okay. Let me know in the chat if everyone can hear me. Okay. All right. Good.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Good. So tip number 4, B-roll. B-roll. So B-roll is not A-roll. So what is A-roll? What is B-roll? Well, technically you are the A-roll. You are the content, right? You're the figure in the content. So B-roll is secondary footage that, is going to be overlaid. That's something, if you're in an area, it's very simple to do this. If you're going to an area, first of all, you want to, just stop for a second, and you could do a quick video in a 360, depending on where you're at. But you could do a 360 of the area you're in. If you're around some shops or the restaurants, you could walk in there. You could walk into a couple of boutique shops. Just do a quick 2, 3, 4, 5 second just scan. I'm trying to paint this picture for you guys over audio, but I'm just saying that just hold up your camera, put that on wide angle. I think that's really good too. If you put that on wide angle and you kind of do a 180 or a 360, if you're in a shop, just make sure whoever's in that shop at that time is cool with it. Try not to capture everybody in there. If you talk to the store owner or whatever, that's cool too. I mean, most of the time they're happy to do that. Especially if if you're going to kind of talk about their business. And this is something else that I had a conversation with somebody the other day about doing these business owner interviews and things like that. We just don't do it, number one, because of coordination, involving somebody else in the process. That's a little bit, usually more difficult, but also, two, we can't account for the other person's personality. And the last thing you want to do is make a video where you're like, hey, we're here at Bob's Flower Shop with the one and only Bob. So, Bob, how long have you lived in the community? 18 years. Okay, Bob, what do you like best about it? Well, it's quiet. So I mean, that's an issue you could run into now. And it's just where you can't control somebody else's personality, how that's going to go. Now, you could always do that as well, and maybe you only use a clip or two or something like that in your video, but at the same time, you're likely still going to have to coordinate with Bob, figure out when they're going to be there, when they can do it. Also, you're not sure how people are going to show up on camera. We did this one time where we were working with a custom builder, and the builder wanted to kind of show us around in the property. And I was like, it's okay. I can handle that. I can talk them through. That's kind of what I do, right? I'm an agent. And they were like, no, we want to kind of show you around. I was like, okay, that's cool. And this was a multi-million-dollar project. So, I was like, all right, didn't want to argue with them too much. So I said, all right, cool. Well, as soon as we turned on the camera, that the person froze up, got extremely nervous. I mean, shaking, just kind of wasn't comfortable at all. And so we had to stop, talk through that, relax, calm down. I tried to assure them as much as possible. And that's the other thing you can't account for. So otherwise, we always just recommend, if you're out in the area, if you just scan the outside, the street, if you can, get a little bit of driving footage, that helps. Drone footage, that's always amazing as well. But I know not everybody's a drone pilot, but you can always look for stock footage in your city, in your town as well. You can look that up. And Chrissy, maybe you could throw out what's the main website you use for stock footage?
Yeah, I use a couple of different ones. We use Shutterfly for some videos and some images that we use. We use Envato Elements for a lot of the music that we use, a lot of the stock footage that we use, and we also use Storyblocks for other stock footage. If we're looking for something a little bit more high quality in terms of the drone footage, it's a little more expensive to use Storyblocks, but we'll go there if we're kind of lacking on some content on the Envato side.
All right, and there you go. And you can pretty much find quite a bit of stock footage, for your city, and then or generic stock footage as well. So it just depends on what you're talking about. But if you're in the little historic downtown, or you're in a neighborhood or something like that, doesn't hurt to just stop, walk around, get some extra scans and some extra, filming of just outside of areas, because that helps break up those videos. It helps break up not just an outdoor video. Now, what I love about outdoor videos is that you're moving around, angle changes, just by switching your arm from left to right, because your arm can get tired, but just by switching from left to right, that's a angle change. We talk about pattern interrupts and pattern breaks. If you watch any show on TV right now, I notice that they typically change frames or scenes or camera angles every 2 to 3 seconds. Rarely does it stay on longer than 4 or 5 seconds. And now these shows are quite elaborate. They typically have 5 or 6 cameras going, so they can hit it from every single different angle. We're not using all of that, but just by switching from one arm to the other, is a pattern interrupt. It's a rapid movement. It's a shift. And then you start talking about something that's over your right shoulder. And then you switch to your right hand and you talk about something that's over your left shoulder. So, doing these types of things, moving your hand up a little bit or moving it down so they can see a little bit more of the sky or a taller building, or moving it up so they might be able to see something on the ground. Just by that movement around. Now, don't make people dizzy, right? Don't take them on a roller coaster ride, but try to be short and concise with those movements, but also adjust, back and forth so that you kind of change things up. But then after you're done with that clip, stop, and then take some additional 180 shots, 360 shots on wide angle as well. Or depending on what, how it looks on the phone, maybe use the one, or you might zoom in as well if you're trying to show something else. So look at different ways, just collect that footage as well. That's all in addition to adding to the video, adding additional B-roll, because that's what helps break up videos. This something else in the office. I mean, this last video we incorporated a second camera angle. Actually, we've done it a couple of times, not as consistent as I would like to be, but I think that's something else that I want to do. It's something I see that Roger Wakefield, who is a plumber in Dallas. All right. Now, nothing at all against plumbers. Don't take me wrong on this, but what I'm saying is that, guys, if a plumber has an audience of almost 500,000 subscribers right now, because he's been on it, he's been in the YouTube game for a little while now, but think about it. Just providing value, helping educate people on leaky faucets and leaky pipes and leaky toilets and all kinds of other stuff. But if you watch his videos, which he does field, I would say out in the field videos, and he does office videos, his office videos, he has 3 to 4 different camera angles, because you think about it, he's like, hey, I'm talking about plumbing, not the most exciting subject in the world. So guess what he has to do? A lot of pattern interrupts, a lot of pattern breaks, a lot of changing up those frames to keep the video interesting so that people stay interested and stick on the video. So he has 3 to 4 different camera angles, uses a ton of B-roll, and just breaks it up and makes it interesting as a plumbing video could be. Again, but very successful. He's extremely successful when it comes to YouTube. He's sponsored by Lowe's and Home Depot. I mean, those are the opportunities that are coming up. We've worked together with a few brands on our videos. That's been pretty cool, to do that. And then also you think about your partnerships. This is going to enhance your partnerships with title, with mortgage, with insurance, with the people that have budgets to give you money, to help co-market with you, to provide opportunity. And the bigger presence you have on a platform, it makes those conversations a lot easier when you're trying to ask somebody for money, And we've built up a relationship, now with our mortgage partner, that if we ask him for anything, he says yes, and whenever I asked him, is there a limit on the budget? He said no, because he says, if you're increasing our spend, to what we're helping you do, he goes, I trust you guys so much now that I believe that's going to bring us increased business. So as long as you're, bringing us increased business, we'll continue to spend whatever we need to spend that we're able to do legally, of course, which we've always gotten everything approved. He's willing to move that budget up as much as we need to. So again, this is something we've always talked about, is that you shouldn't have a marketing budget. You should have a testing budget, because if you test something and you spend $1 and it gives you back 3 or 4 or 5, why would you have a budget? Why would you have a marketing budget? You should have a testing budget. Now, you could test spending that $1 and maybe you lose $1, and the next time you test and you make $1.20, and the next time you test you make $2, and then you test again and you make $3, and you're like, okay, that's the sweet spot of what we're doing right here. Now we've got it down to a science to where if I spend $1, I get back 3. Why would you have a budget? Why spend 1,000 to make back 3,000? Why not spend 2 to make 6 or 3 to make 9? Why not just increase that as much as possible? If you've got it locked in, don't have a marketing budget, have a testing budget. And so that's the way our partners feel that hey, if we're going to ask them for some contribution, they feel like the value is there, and they trust in us that we're going to give them a return on their investment into us. So that's a huge opportunity. And then number five tip, and then we want to open it up to some Q&A. If anybody has some questions, I haven't checked the chat yet, but we'll go there as well. Number 5, a tip for better filming is a call to action. I love this because I get in these conversations with real estate agents all the time. And I just want to say this. I will not apologize for asking for business, period. I mean, we're in sales, period. And so, that's the thing, is that if you believe in your service and the value you're providing and the product you're offering or the service, or whatever the case is, then you should not have any issue with asking for the business. And those that ask for the business will typically get it. So several agents I speak to will be like, well, look, I don't want to be salesy. I just want them to watch another video. And I'm like, great. But if they don't know, that you want the business or that they should call you regardless, it's, can you wait around for people to figure that out on their own? Sure. But, we adjust to the lowest common denominator. All right. Which means we will post, think about this, we will post our contact information in a comment right below the video. Now, if you scroll around on YouTube, if anybody's on YouTube right now, you could look at any of our videos. You're going to see our video. You're going to see the title right below it. You're going to see the top 3 lines of the description. Then it will say read more, which means you have to expand the description if you want to see the rest of the description. But then right underneath that, you're going to see the first comment, and we pin our contact information in that first comment. So you can do little to no scrolling at all, and you should see our contact information plain as day right there, right there. However, you'd be surprised how many people comment right underneath that and say, "Hey, we're thinking of moving to Dallas. How do we contact you? What's your phone number? Hey, we're thinking about buying a house." And they'll say things like that, even though we have it displayed, we have it in the description, we have it in the comment. And so sometimes people either overlook things or they're just, whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter. So we always want to adjust to the lowest common denominator, which is we want to make everything as easy as possible for people to get in touch with us, and to let them know that we are doing business. We want to help you out on your for what you need in real estate. So we're not shy about asking for that. So we have a call to action. We have it at the beginning, and we do it at the end of every single video. Again, our goal from the beginning of this channel was, can we make the phone ring? That was it, period. It wasn't like, hey, we want to have 100,000 subscribers. Now, would that be cool? Sure. Yeah, I would love to get a silver play button plaque from YouTube. But at the same time, we're making a lot more money than a lot of people I know with some of those silver play buttons. And that's just the simple fact that we are fortunate enough to be in an industry like real estate that monetizing it through YouTube far outweighs any type of affiliate commission, any type of AdSense, any type of revenue share from YouTube. I mean, any of that. We got our first call in 30 days with 48 subscribers, and it was $1 million buyer. That's a $30,000 commission at 3%. I don't know a lot of YouTubers that had the opportunity to make $30,000 in the first month. Now, unless they're monetizing it from a product or service, that is far outweighs anything else. A lot of YouTubers, it takes them a long time to ramp up. And a lot of real estate agents wonder why they don't generate business from their channel sooner rather than later. And it's simple that I'll go into the videos and they're not maximizing that opportunity for a call to action. Now that doesn't mean that you post your video on the front page where you can have a trailer video and a featured video. And for those that don't know, a trailer video, anybody that is not subscribed to your channel will see that trailer video. It automatically starts playing whenever you land on somebody's channel. And the featured video is whenever somebody is subscribed to your channel and they go back to your channel, that video is going to automatically play every time they get on there. And since I visit my channel several times a day because I'm always looking at something, I hear myself say, I say, so you're thinking about moving to Dallas or whatever our video is for that day. I hear it, 100 times, but it is what it is. But think about your viewer that goes back to the channel often or regularly. They're going to hear that as well. So, and I'm not saying that video, I was on somebody's channel yesterday looking at it, and that their video was, hi, my name's Levi Lascsak. I'm a real estate agent in Dallas, Texas. If you want to buy, sell, or invest, I'm the person to help you out. I've been in the Dallas market for 25 years, and we've helped families. And that's just, to me, that's not necessarily a call to action. That's a straight sales pitch, and we haven't even earned the opportunity to really ask for the business at that point. So, from there, we want to think about a call to action. Again, ours is very simple, which is, hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is about living in Dallas, Texas and the surrounding areas, then subscribe and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to learn about the current market in Dallas. And we say, so you can be the first to learn about the current market. And so our first call to action there is subscribe so you can be the first to learn about the current market in Dallas. Okay, so we're asking for the subscriptions. People wonder, why are we growing so much on subscribers? Well, that could be it, because we flat out ask people to subscribe, but we also give them a reason to subscribe, which is be the first to learn about the current market in Dallas. Think about the wording on that. I worded that very specifically because I wanted people to feel, number one, like if they subscribe to our channel, they will be up to date on everything that's happening in the Dallas market. That is value to them, especially if they're thinking about moving. But also, first to learn kind of, to me, presents a little exclusivity, right? It kind of gives somebody something to say, oh, I want to be the first to learn about the current market in Dallas. I don't want to be the one learning about things after the fact or a month later or something else. And so, to me, that's a positioning point of saying, hey, okay, you want to learn about the current market in Dallas. That's why you subscribe. But then you can also be the first to learn. So now you're a little bit of part of the exclusive club about what's going on. Now, is that exciting? Well, I mean, maybe not necessarily. But again, we're looking for very specific people, to give us a call. And if they subscribe, well, now they're, they feel like they're up to speed. My big pet peeve is whenever I hear people say, hey, subscribe so whenever I drop a new video. Well, what does that mean? And what value does that provide to the viewer, to the client, to your potential customer? So if I say, well, subscribe to know when I drop a new video, and this is my first time to your channel, I may not really truly understand what the channel is about or why I should subscribe to learn about your new videos. I don't even know if I like your new videos, or, I may not like your videos in general. But for me, whenever I say first to learn about the current market in Dallas, that's removing me out of that. And that's putting the value and what's in it for the client, what's in it for the consumer, what's in it for the customer first. So that way they have a true understanding. So that's the first call to action. Subscribe so you can be the first to learn about the current market in Dallas. Then we like to put up a little social proof. Hey, we get calls, texts, and emails every single day. And we put up little screenshots of calls and text and Zoom calls and things like that. So people see that we're interacting. We're getting this information, or we're getting reach outs every single day. So to us, that makes people a little bit more comfortable about saying, okay, well, hey, other people are doing this, or giving them a call too. So why not? Clearly, we just do that very quickly, but it's just a social proof aspect. You look on, you'll see a lot of social proof, that can be reviews. It could be 5-star reviews. It could be all different types of things, but that's why we get reviews and we ask for testimonials and information like that, because it's the social proof. We want people to understand that we've provided that value before. So therefore, it's just proof is in the pudding, they may say, right? From that aspect. So, Let's see. So first learn about the current market in Dallas, get calls and texts every single day. And then that's whenever I say, okay, my name's Levi, my partner Travis, the team and I. Oh, that's the other part I left out there. Or I say that's where my name's Levi, my partner Travis, the team and I. So I include my partner's name, so they're familiar with him. I include the team. So this is something else that came up yesterday. Somebody asked me, well, people get upset if they don't talk to me directly, and we don't have that problem. And I would assume that's because I position that in every video, which is, my partner Travis and the team and I, we're here to help you out. So the thing is that people know from the very beginning that I've got a partner and I've got a team. We've never had a single issue with the fact that calls will go straight to a Travis or straight to a team member, and they're able to answer those questions. And the thing is that people will find just as much value from that team member. And if they do ask for me, it's as simple as saying, well, Levi's out filming right now. What can I help you with? And so they just kind of acknowledge and defer a little bit, right? They acknowledge that, oh yeah, Levi's around, but he's out filming right now. He's a little tied up. He's a little busy. So what can I help you out with? And then from there, they say, They start they spill the beans, right? They start talking. They start saying everything that they need, and the team member takes over from there. And we've never had an issue with doing that. So by positioning that in the video as well, I'm letting people know that I've got a partner, I've got a team, so they're not surprised by that as well. So that's something that keeps it in mind. So we have that. We get calls, texts, emails every single day. People just like you. We love it. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days. So I like to say that. I love saying whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, because I want people to know that it's not too late and it's not too soon to give us a call, right? I could say 9 days or 9 months, but I like 9 days or 90 days. I'm trying to really find people that are quick on the draw, ready to make a move. We've ran the numbers. Our average contact to under contract is 47 days. That is crazy, right? I mean, from the first time somebody reaches out to us getting them under contract is on average of 47 days. That is extremely fast, but that also tells us that people are intentional. But also, we know that when they're on YouTube and researching, they're likely in the buying process more often than not. They're making those decisions and they're ready to make a move. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, we have literally the fastest we've put a deal under contract is 3.5 hours. Before that, it was about, I want to say about 18 hours we put a deal under contract. And that was, somebody was in the market. They were here in Dallas. They were with another agent actually for 4 days. They said 4 days in town visiting, felt like they were getting the runaround. Agent wasn't listening to them. And they went on. They had one more day here in Dallas, and they went on that night in the hotel room and went on YouTube and started to search Dallas real estate. And our videos popped up. And they emailed us at 11 p.m. at night. I didn't see it. I was already in bed. But, of course, the next morning I got up and I saw the email. And I waited till about 8 a.m. and I replied to the email. And I said, hey, happy to help you out. Could you jump on a quick call? By 9 a.m., we were on a phone call. Or on a Zoom call actually, and having a Zoom, and they're like, yeah, well, we would, they said, well, you said in your videos, whether it's 9 days or 90 days to give you a call. And here we are, our last day. And so we thought, why not just give you a call? So because of that call to action, that's why they reached out to us, was the main reason. So, by that time we met them at noon, because based on everything that they told us, we were like, hey, we know this area. Sounds like it's right up your alley. It's going to be close to your work. It has the homes that you're looking for. Why don't you meet us over there? We met them at noon. And by 3 p.m. that day, we had them under contract on a new construction. And it was going to be finished in 3 months, which was really their timeline to move, was that 3 months. So really everything just worked out in a line for them. But ultimately, that's what they said, was the fact that even though it was their last day in town, they said, well, you said on your video 9 days or 90 days, so we thought it probably not too late to give you a call. So you never know. So you want to think about that. Your call to action, you want to spend some time on that. You want to really dig into that, think about it, and ask for the business. Don't be shy about that. And you want people to know that you're in business and you're there to help them out. And that's what it comes down to. And so We don't want to shy away from that. So those would be my the 5 tips there. Let's see here. What's up, Justin? How are you doing? See you pop in here. What you up to today? I'm going to look over here in the chat. Let's see. We've got Justin may be in listen-only mode. So let's see here. We got my man, Zach. Zach says, happy birthday, Chrissy.
Thank you.
There you go. Laura shared. Thank you, Laura. Oh, Gwyneth, what's up? Well, Gwyneth says, happy birthday, Chrissy. Kim says, great tips, Levi. Thank you, Kim. Appreciate that. She's from Seattle, Washington. Let's see. Can you do a bonus let's see, Marie says, can you do a bonus as to how to use a split screen? I made a video and I was trying to show graphs for market analysis, but it looked awkward and amateurish. Yeah, so, I think Zoom. Zoom's a real simple way to do that. And I would just screen record on Zoom and share your screen. And then that puts you up in a nice little box up in the top right corner, which is ideal. And then you can use drawing tools. You can use, you just got to practice with it a little bit to get a little bit more comfortable when you hit record. But otherwise, I would say just go on Zoom. I think everybody's pretty proficient in Zoom these days because of everything we went through the last couple of years. So I would just get on a screen, record, share screen, have your camera on. That leaves you up there. It leaves you visible. And so that should be pretty simple. There you go. Hopefully that helps out. Let's see.
Some of that's done in the editing process too. Some of the ones that you've seen on the Living in Dallas channel, we sometimes will have him record, on a separate screen or a separate desktop, and then we'll combine the two to make it look a little bit cleaner too. So just know that some of that happens in editing as well.
Yes. Okay, Levi, what was the stand you're using with your iPhone? So it's called Ulanzi. If you look up Ulanzi on Amazon, I think it's, I don't know, it's like $20, but Ulanzi, Ulanzi, is the little tripod I use. And let's see here. What's his name again? I'm assuming you're talking about Roger Wakefield is the plumber. Chrissy, they asked, could you put that stuff in the chat real quick while we have the room open? Your those websites that you use for B-roll?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Can you tap those in the chat real quick? Let's see. Jennifer says, any tips for getting over the anxiety of filming in public with people watching you and more so? How do you get through the information without fumbling, forgetting what you were saying, and doing 20 takes and giving up? So yeah, hey, think about this. Everybody's just, they're just interested. That's it. They're curious, think about it. Have you ever seen like the backs, what do you want to call it? The behind the scenes of Mission Impossible or something else, whatever they're filming downtown. And Tom Cruise is in the middle of Italy or something like that. There's people around there. There's people there. Now that's clearly a bigger deal, but anytime you have a camera and if you look like you know what you're doing, people are interested. And I'll tell you what, I can't tell you how many times I've been approached by kids, kids that will come up, literally run up and say, are you a YouTuber? And I'm like, yeah, I am a YouTuber. And they're like, wow, that's so cool. So, to me, it's just embracing it. It's like, hey, it is what it is. I'm out here I'm doing my job, and people that may be looking around are just curious. Ultimately, they may even be a little envious because you think about it, not everybody can do what we do. There is camera shyness, right? That is a real thing. It is something that I think you just kind of work through. I think for me, it doesn't matter. I've actually been stopped. Actually, in one of the last Rockwall video I did, there's a clip of a guy in there coming up to me while I was filming, and he's like, hey, bro, love your videos, man. That's what helped me move here to Dallas. And then I got him on camera. I was like, well, hey, you mind jump in here real quick? So I just invited him into the video. So it's one of those things I think, it just comes with time. It comes with practice. It comes with, anything that we do in the beginning usually is a little awkward and uncomfortable, no matter what it is, whether we're doing it in public or private, right? So in public, yeah, it adds a little additional layer on there. But the main thing is I think just keep in mind, hey, people are curious. And if you want, you can always stop and just look at them and be like, hey, yep, it's just me over here making a video, and they're probably going to say, oh, what are you making a video for? And then you've got a great opportunity to meet a potential client right there in person, or to tell somebody about your channel. Be like, oh, by the way, yeah, I'm a real estate agent here in the area. What's your name? Where do you live? Oh, how long have you lived there? Oh, okay. You planning on making a move soon? Well, actually, yeah, I am, So if somebody's in close proximity to you that's really making you that nervous, just talk to them. That would be one way to do it. Otherwise, maybe you wait a little bit if there's a lot of traffic. It just depends. I try not to pick too super busy areas, but also if you go somewhere early in the morning or at a downtime, it's kind of a catch-22, right? Because if you're showing an area, it's cool to kind of show how popular it is, but at the same time, that means there's more people around. But there's a few videos. I've done videos on rooftops, at the bar, things like that, and I will see out of the corner of my eye like people just staring me down, and I just say, yeah, no big deal. I know what I'm there for. Plus, I know what my videos are worth. What they're worth to me, the value, right? And so I know the value of my videos, so that's worth a lot more to me than what somebody else's thought process or opinion is. But I would just keep working on it, keep going, Jennifer. You'll be good to go. And either pick some downtimes, less traffic, different areas, or just kind of work through it. And again, if somebody's really staring you down, talk to them, say, hey, what's up? How are you? Just making a video. Just don't mind me making a YouTube video over here. And they're going to be like, oh, really? What's your channel? That's probably going to be their natural reaction and ask you what's up. So, let's see. What's up, Anita? How are you? I feel like I haven't spoken to you in forever, Anita. Hope you're doing well. Jennifer, she says, Jennifer, think of a 15-minute video as 15 one-minute clips. There you go. Editing can fix almost everything. All right, there you go. Cesar says, great content. Thanks. You're welcome. Jamie says, what tips do you have for doing a map video on a town you don't know? Yeah, just read a little bit. But also, it's not that complicated. Really, map videos are just point things out. Point things out on the map. They may seem obvious, but just walking somebody through that process, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how helpful that is to people. So let me see. I lost my place here. You guys are blowing up the chat now. All right, let's see. Chrissy put in here. Let me go back to Andrew says, happy birthday, Chrissy. Pop a cork tonight. That'll be, guys. Yeah, that'll be of her sparkling juice, right? Sparkling juice.
That's right. Sparkling. Love it.
All right, Marie says, thanks. You're welcome. John says, this is my first time here. I was wondering if you had a done for you option for the setup. I thought I heard that somewhere. Yeah, just go on our website. That's posted at the link above, passiveprospecting.com. By the way, actually, I was going to say, did you get that post, Chrissy? Did you get the link for our... I would like to post that at the top real quick though too. We need some votes. We got nominated for Social Media Superstars of Dallas.
Oh yeah, we definitely got to get that up there.
Actually, if you're in our Facebook group, you can go in the Facebook group. If you want to post a vote for us, that would be awesome. So it's unfortunately it's not based on production. Otherwise, I think we could take the cake on that. So, but we did make it in the top 5 for Social Media Superstars for Dallas, Texas, from Real Producers. So the Real Producers magazine. That's kind of a big deal. I think a lot of y'all have real producers in your market. So. That's pretty cool option. Let's see. But yeah, we do have a done for you option, John. Just go to passiveprospecting.com. You'll see some different options on there. So Vanessa says, happy birthday, Chrissy. A lot of love today for Chrissy.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. So Chrissy put in here storyblocks.com, elements.envato.com. Andrew says, on average, how many takes does it take to get the right take? Well, when you get better, just one. Let's see. Chrissy also put stock.adobe.com. I hope do we get any affiliates for this stuff, Chrissy?
We should.
Do they
set it up?
Do they offer affiliates for those 3 websites?
I think that they might. I'll have to look at it.
Yeah, we might have to look into that. Let me see. Although happy to provide them here for you guys. Clearly, no charge. Let's see. Thanks for always sharing. So Mary Kay says, thank you for always sharing great info and helping. Thank you, Mary Kay. I'm in the beginning stages of starting my YouTube channel. Awesome. Well, keep going. Do you recommend going through the whole course before starting to film videos? Ideally, yes, that would help. Antonio, my man Antonio, the best voice on Clubhouse. He says he shared this room. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. Been trying to, let's see, Jennifer says, been trying to get up and going for a couple of months. Only have 3 videos filmed, so I've been pretty discouraged. Okay, well, just take action. You know, that's the main thing. You got to work through it. You got to build a muscle. You got to build a muscle memory. You know, that's the thing is that, let's see, a couple of months. So 3 videos in a couple of months clearly is going to be a lot more difficult whenever you try to film the very next one. But if you film 3 in a week, it's going to be easier to film the next week. All right. So just the consistency is really key in the beginning because it's going to help you develop that muscle memory of filming. And then that way you don't have to worry about multiple takes and you just keep working towards, getting better each and every time. So office, let's see, Mark, my man Mark, he says, for office videos, you have recommended depth, lights, bookshelves, etc. Yes. Can you share your 2 cents on blurred and green screen backgrounds? Yeah, I mean, I like blurred backgrounds if you've got dirty laundry in the back, something like that. A less appealing background. I mean, blurred backgrounds. I like the blurred background look. I'm actually recording right now because, we're recording this and I'm looking at my background. It's like a very slight blurred, so you can still kind of make out a few objects. You can't really read book titles, but you can clearly see I have a Cowboys helmet on my shelf. You can see I've got, for Star Wars fans, you can see I got a Millennial Falcon. You can tell that, but you can't really read any of the book titles I have on there. You can't read the wording in a plaque I have up there. So to me, it's like the blurred background, there's different variations. You can do completely blurred out, which I think that looks a little awkward. So if you have something in the background, then a slight blur just so that the focus is still mainly on you versus your background. Some people, you look at like Sean Cannell. Sean Cannell has a very clear camera shot so you can see his background as well. Now he also has a lot of things more in the distance in his background. So you won't be able to read books on the shelf, but you can see, pictures he has on the wall. You can see like his silver and gold play buttons. Those are, so that's a very clear, straight focus. So yeah, I think anything that's creative and fits your personality is a great background. I love seeing all the different YouTube studios and setups and things that I find on different videos. So we're going to be working on a new studio I'm excited about. And that one's going to be dark. It's going to have a lot of depth in it. And I'm excited about that one. Still not sure what I want to do on the walls. Well, I have a good idea, but it's going to be cool. But yeah, let me see. Green screens, I will say, are probably my least favorite just because it's usually a fixed background, and it's like, okay, yeah, you can have a cool picture of your city or something like that. And they're good. They work, but to me, it's just my opinion. They work, but I don't know. I think a little unoriginal, I would just say. Now, if you're traveling, like if you're traveling the country and you're Winnebago and you want to look like you're in Dallas, I think it's great to have a green screen, right? But at the house, I mean, Now, you may have a closet in your house, and that's the only area you can film, so a green screen is necessary, which is cool. Okay, I get it. I would do whatever it takes to create your content, make good videos. The background is one of the least concerning issues, but I mean, a little character I think is cool, and and also interesting, right? Showcase a little bit of your personality, and just makes it a little bit more fun. So, Antonio says, definitely an example, Levi Rockstar. Thank you, my man. Olivier, what's up? I used Spotted Group. Let's see. Olivier says, I use Spotted Group and asked, what do you like about living in XYZ and what do you dislike? Okay. I'm not sure what a Spotted Group is. Let me see. Oh, got so many answers, basically did that video for me. All right. You can explain, Olivier. Come on up.
So a spotted group is a neighborhood group, if you will, like Spotted Dallas, where people will say, will post anonymously about Dallas. So you can ask your question anonymously.
Okay. So is that the website, Spotted?
No, it's a group on Facebook.
Oh.
So we have that here in Quebec. So basically, you ask a question, what is it like to live there? And you have your ideas, and then people will say, well, I love the stores there. Okay, so I have to do a segment on the stores. Or I hate that school is such a bad school. Okay, so I have to talk about the schools in a politically correct way. So basically, I got 10 ideas for my video, shot my video with those 10 ideas. Didn't have to do any research, and it actually added to what I believed was right for the town.
Awesome. So it's one Facebook group, or is there one Facebook group per city?
Well, in our area, it's one per city. Sometimes smaller cities will have a group for 2 or 3 cities, but most cities have like neighborhood or city groups. I don't know if you have that. You probably have a group like what's fun about Dallas or something like that, and you can ask your question there, for example.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, yeah, great. It's just something I haven't dug into before, but that's a great way. It was funny because we were at an event, we were at this last week. Somebody came up and was like, we had our videographer with us there, and they were asking Alex, or they were asking me, they're like, where'd you find Alex? Alex is so cool. And we're like, yeah, we do. We got the coolest videographer in the game, we think. He's a pretty cool dude, and always down for whatever. But I said, well, we met. Travis knew him, right? He was a referral. He was a contact that Travis knew of for several years, and that's where we brought him on. But then Alex was like, well, look, go to, and he pulled up a Facebook group. He said, go to DFW Videographers on Facebook, and he goes, there's always people in there looking for work, looking for opportunity, posting job, things like that. He goes, you just find a local videographer Facebook group and post in there and say you're looking for a videographer. He goes, you'll probably get 10, 20, 30 people, reply to you. And they're like, genius. So there you go. Thank you, Olivier. Appreciate that. Yeah, I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook, which is probably why I'm not used to just defaulting to that mode or thinking about that. But that's a great way to tap into a local group and just ask a question on there. So actually, I've got a call. I just realized it's 11:45 Central Time. So normally I keep this to an hour, but man, you guys started hammering the questions in here. So I appreciate that. So if I didn't get to you, I apologize. Feel free to hit us up in the Facebook group, and which you should be able to search Passive Prospecting on Facebook. Hopefully you'll find our Facebook group, aka The Real Agents, REEL. If you have some additional questions, otherwise we'll be on YouTube tomorrow, and you can check us out live there. So thank you all for joining us, and we will see you next week. Thank you for joining us on today's podcast. If you're interested in partnering with us to access our YouTube course and coaching at no cost, schedule a call at passiveprospectingpartner.com.